Every data scientist has a dream to create the most accurate model quickly without having to spend a lot of time on data transformation and pre-processing. Guess what? Dreams do come true. In this video, I'll share with all of you an amazing open source library called CatBoost. You can create really accurate models using CatBoost using GPUs. So essentially you can create models quickly and there is very little pre-processing that you have to do before you create a model. So without wasting any time, let's jump directly into the implementation. I'm using Google Colab as an environment to create this demo. So essentially what I'll do is, since CatBoost kind of uses a GPU at the runtime to create a model quickly, I'll change my runtime type to GPU. So I'll click on change runtime type and I'll select a GPU if it's not already selected. And I'll click on save. Once I've done that, the next thing that I'll do is I'll click on connect. Now there would be an instance that would be created for me in the Google environment. Now the instance is up and running. Now the first thing, if I have to ever use CatBoost, I'll have to install CatBoost. So the way you do that is the typical Python process of installing any library, which is pip install CatBoost. So let me run the cell. So the whole package is kind of downloading and it's also installing after that. So most of the dependencies already exist in the Colab environment, so you don't have to worry about, say, explicitly installing anything else. Now that I've installed CatBoost, the next step is to import the necessary modules. So I'll run the cell to import the necessary modules that I'll require in this process. Now that I've imported the necessary modules, I'm also importing a necessary function that will help me give a clear summary of my data frame. I'll kind of explain the output of this function once we reach this point. Right now I'll move forward and import the function that we have. Now the file that I'll be playing around with is data.csv, which is a simple file, and the problem that I'm trying to solve is a classification problem. Now I already have a file called as data.csv. I'll come to what the file content is. I've already uploaded this file into the session, so I don't have to re-upload it again. So let's check if the file exists in the current session or not. So I'll type !ls. So as you can clearly see, the data.csv file already exists in the current session. So let's go forward. The next thing that I do is I create a variable called as file_log and I kind of save the name of the file into that variable. So let's run this cell. Let's import the content of this file location into a data frame df. And let's also proceed to visualize the first 5 rows of my data frame. As you can clearly see, I have total of 6 columns. The first column is applicant income. The second column is co-applicant income. The third column is loan amount. The fourth column is loan amount term. The fifth column is credit history. And the final column is, has this person been given a loan or not? So that is signified by loan status and it is a binary value 1 or 0. 5 columns are numeric, 1 column is categorical. I'll discuss more on the type of data that I have going forward. Let's reconfirm the belief that I have. I have a total of 6 columns and also 614 rows in this data set. Now if you remember, I had created a function called as resume table, which gives you the entire summary of the data frame in one go. So this is what I'll kind of try to give you in terms of like a proper table like structure. So the function basically gives me a result in one go. So let's go over the result of this function. As you can clearly see, it specifies that it has 614 rows and 6 columns. So essentially I have a column for name, that is all the column names occupy the rows. It gives me the type of data that is included in a particular column. So as you can see, applicant income is basically stored as float 64 and so on and so forth. It also gives me a count of the total missing values which are present in different columns of a data frame. As you can clearly see, applicant income has 2 missing values, co-applicant income has 2 missing values, loan amount has 3 missing values, and so on and so forth. The first value is also given in this table for that particular column. The second value is also given for that particular column. So you can play around with this function to generate much more insights in one go. that your simple df.info cannot provide in the first go itself. The next step in model building is to separate out X and Y. By now you would have a clear idea in terms of what our features are and what the target variable is. So essentially our target variable is loan underscore status column. So I'll run the cell to separate out X and Y. The next thing that I do is separate the X and Y into training and testing dataset, where 67% of the data is used for training and 33% of my data is used for testing purposes. Now, if I visualize the first 5 rows of my training dataset, this is what I observe. This is specifically for the X train. So this is just the features that I have in hand. I also safeguard all the training column names into a variable called as features. And I specifically mark the categorical column into a new list variable called as cat underscore features. Now you might be wondering, there's nothing specific that I've done for say pre-processing or removing the missing value. So you can see that the next step that I'll be doing is basically fitting the model. I have not taken care of the categorical variable, that is, I have not converted that to numeric. I have also not acknowledged the missing values. So I have not treated the missing values at all. In most of the algorithms that you've used so far, all of these steps are really important because then you wouldn't be able to proceed to the model building step. But that is where the uniqueness of CatBoost lies. CatBoost can take care of most of the pre-processing steps that you would have to either do if you were using the simpler algorithms, be it like a random forest or a decision tree. Most of it is taken care by CatBoost. If there are missing values in the numeric columns, then you don't have to care about it. CatBoost will help you in that. You don't have to worry about encoding the categorical variables, so you don't have to worry if it's a nominal variable, ordinal variable, and so on and so forth. All of that is taken care by CatBoost itself. The only care that you'll have to take is if there are missing values in the categorical variables, you'll have to explicitly say fill those values, or you can also specify a new category called as missing and then take it from there. So you can take the advantage of Google Colab along with CatBoost to create really accurate models in very quick time. Now let's go on to the model building step, now that I've kind of given you a heads up in terms of what the advantages are of using CatBoost. So now in terms of creating the model, I've already imported the CatBoost classifier from CatBoost library. So I'm creating a variable called as model underscore CB. The first parameter that I'm passing in is the task underscore type, which is GPU. I want this model to be built on a GPU so that there is good amount of speed that I can see while creating the model. Since the data set is small, I am specifying the total number of iterations as 100. I want you to replicate the same results at your end as well. So that is why I'm using a random state number. And the number that I've chosen is 2021 and not 2020. Considering how 2020 is shaped up so far, I don't want this number to appear again. So that is why I'm kind of avoiding this number as well. And I want to create a model by specifying what metric I'm chasing for. So I want a really high F1 score and not just the accuracy piece of it. So that is what I'm specifying here as well. And let's kind of create the instance by running this cell. Now once you've created the instance, now you have to basically pass in the values of training dataset, that is your X train, Y train. And how do you evaluate it is using your X test and Y test. You can also do a k-fold cross validation, so you can go through the website that they've created. So I'll run this cell to kind of say fit the dataset that is there. And you will also see quickly how the losses are optimized to come up with the most say efficient model. So the model is optimized for a better F1 score and not just for the accuracy piece. So you can see the results for every iteration that CatBoost ran on. So you can also set up the learning rate. So I didn't kind of play around with a lot of parameters which are there, but I wanted to give you like a heads up in terms of the advantages. And if you notice carefully, it didn't throw me any error for either the missing values or the categorical features that I had. Now if you go back to the fit state, there's one thing that I missed explaining that I'm kind of covering right now is, so for all the categorical columns that you have, you just have to specify which are the columns which are actually categorical, and the algorithm will automatically take care of that and kind of create the best fitting model for you. Now that the whole model creation activity is taken care, let's make some predictions and see how good a model we are able to create. Let's now test out the F1 score that we have and let's see how good or bad the model is. As you can clearly see, we have an F1 score of around 83%, and if I go to the accuracy score, the accuracy score is really good as well with around 77%. So I did very little things in order to arrive at this accuracy. If I would have done some amount of feature engineering, if I would have done some pre-processing at my end, I'm pretty sure my accuracy would have been even better. So this is the power of CatBoost that I wanted to demonstrate in this simple example. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you find my tutorials informative, then please consider clicking the subscribe button and also press the bell icon to be notified for future videos. And thanks again for watching the video.